Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another Magic Arena Explorer video. So today we are playing some Mono Black, but not your traditional Mono Black Devotion or Mono Black Aggro. I think you could probably call this Mono Black Sacrifice, but I'm going with Sheoldred Tribal, just because we have several cards which are related to that particular Phyrexian Praetor. So we have the classic 3 copies of Sheoldred the Apocalypse from Dominaria, which is the 4/5 Death Touch that gains you life when you draw a card and makes your opponent lose life whenever they draw a card. But we're also running 3 copies of the new Sheoldred from March of the Machine, which is a 4/5 with Menace for 5 mana. And when it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature or planeswalker, and you can pay 4 and a black and exile it and return it to the battlefield transformed at sorcery speed if an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, and it comes back as the True Scriptures, which is an interesting card. Chapter 1 is for each opponent destroy up to 1 target creature or planeswalker that player controls. Chapter 2, each opponent discards 3 cards, then mills 3 cards. And Chapter 3, put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control, exile the True Scriptures, and return it to the battlefield as Sheoldred. So if that wasn't enough, it then comes back and makes your opponent sacrifice another non-token creature or planeswalker. So if you ever get to flip it, you probably will just win the game. But that's a very powerful effect, both as an edict when it enters the battlefield, and then if you ever get to transform it as well. And a 4/5 with Menace is not to be underestimated in a deck that can remove a lot of your opponent's creatures. They may not often have more than one on the battlefield, and so it can get in and do quite a lot of damage by itself. Now, you may be thinking, well, there's only 2 Sheoldreds, how can you call it Sheoldred Tribal? Well, you're right to ask, and I have also included 4 copies of Sheoldred's Edict, which is an instant from Phyrexia or will be 1 that makes your opponent either sacrifice a non-token creature, a creature token, or a planeswalker. So it's a very versatile Edict effect, and that alone is enough to make this Sheoldred Tribal, and I'll fight anyone who disagrees. So, that's the Sheoldred element, and then it's just built around a mono black shell, so you'll recognize a lot of these cards. So we're running 4 copies of Thoughtseize, 2 copies of Fatal Push in the 1-drop slot, and then we've got 4 copies of Gifted Aetherborn as a very powerful 2-drop, 2/3 with Death Touch and Lifelink. So that can both hold the ground against anything your opponent plays, and also gain you a bit of life. Sign in Blood, which allows you to draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. 2 copies of Reckoner Bankbuster, so that's the artifact that both lets you draw cards and can also turn into a creature. So it's good against control decks, good against grindy matchups where you need that additional card draw. And then we've got 2 copies of the Meathook Massacre as our main deck Wrath of Choice. So that costs X black black, and when it enters the battlefield, each creature gets -X until end of turn. So you can kind of pay the amount of mana you want to have the amount of -X that most benefits you. And then also it makes your opponent lose life whenever a creature you control dies, and whenever a creature they control dies, you gain a life. So that's incremental advantage as well. And we've got 3 copies of Graveyard Trespasser, which we've seen before. A little bit of a nombo with Sheoldred because you are taking cards out of your opponent's graveyard, where Sheoldred wants there to be 8 or more, but you can kind of modulate that if it's in the early game and you just need a bit of life. If not, you can eat your own creatures from the graveyard, or just not. So there are options there. And then another sacrifice effect is 3 copies of Liliana of the Veil, so the planeswalker that can make your opponent sacrifice a creature. Then we've got 2 copies of Sorin the Mirthless, which can both create life-linking vampires, but also give us a bit of card advantage as well. And 2 copies of Invoke Despair to make opponents sacrifice creatures, enchantments, and planeswalkers, and anything that they can't gives us additional cards. So yeah, there's a lot of sacrifice effects, so we will be trying to keep our opponent off from doing very much and just keep their board relatively clear, while our big creatures, our Aetherborns, our Trespassers, our Sheoldreds kind of get in and attack. We are running 1 copy of Nykthos in this deck. It's not technically a devotion deck. It's not kind of designed to have lots of devotion, but the incidental effect of playing a lot of these cards is that you sometimes will have that, and so you can just occasionally sort of get a lot of mana out of this. And then a lot of swamps, obviously, in a mono black deck. 2 copies of Field of Ruin to deal with problematic lands on the opponent's side. 3 Castle Lochthwain to act as a bit of card advantage if we need. Pairs very well with Sheoldred the Apocalypse because you mitigate quite a lot of the life loss. and then 1 copy of Takenuma as our utility land. So that is the main deck, and then in the sideboard we have 2 copies of Fatal Push and 2 Noxious Grasp as our kind of targeted additional removal if we need it. So decks that are playing green or decks that are playing a lot of low mana creatures, bring in those. 3 copies of Go Blank to kind of disrupt an opponent's hand and deal with their graveyard. Similarly, Leyline of the Void is a graveyard hate of choice, and then we have our Wrath effects in 1 copy of Extinction Event and 2 copies of Ritual Soot. So you'll bring in some combination of them, depending on what you're playing. This is very good against decks that run a lot of low mana creatures, obviously. Kind of humans decks, your spirits decks, that kind of thing. Another copy of Evoke Despair if we ever need it, and then a Thought Distortion, which can't be countered and exiles all non-creature, non-land cards from an opponent's hand and graveyard. So bring that in against particularly problematic control decks. So that is the deck. I'm looking forward to playing it. Sheoldred the Apocalypse is obviously one of the most powerful cards printed in recent sets. I'm interested to see how this new Sheoldred plays, whether we ever get to flip it. Do you need to flip it for it to be good? Or is the 4/5 with the Edict attached good enough by itself? So let's see how it goes on the ladder. Ugh, no swamps is depressing. Yeah, this is much worse without. Although, we can just castle Lochthwain, Takenuma. Yeah, we'll keep it. It's not terrible. Look at your map, Thibblethip. Okay, so our opponent's on blue-white. Maybe control, maybe spirits, based on the fact that they shocked in there. Yep. Spirits it is. Okay, so they've got a pretty aggressive start. So let's play a swamp. Let's play Reckoner Bankbuster. So, how are we getting through this? I think we will open with a Sheoldred's Edict. Yep, the hexproof doesn't help them here. Yeah, Azorius Spirits. So we're in for a lot of damage. I'm not a fan of playing into a lot of open mana there, so but I don't think we have any other choice because we can't just sit back. So let's play Liliana. Yep, Spell Queller. The bane of my existence when it's played against me. Yeah, no, we're just dead here. That's fair enough. They had a very good start. But we do sideboard. We do sideboard pretty well against them, so let's pop in Noxious Grasp, Fatal Push, Ritual of Soot. We'll take out Evoke Despair, a couple of Edicts, a Sign in Blood, and 1 big Sheoldred. Anything else we want to put in? Go Blank, don't think so. Thought Distortion, no. Leyline, no. Yep, do it like this. Don't like 1 land, but double Noxious Grasp, Thoughtseize. Oh, that's so annoying. If we draw another land, this hand's great, but don't think we can keep it. See, this hand's much worse, but yep. I think we're just going to have to live with it. So let's pop away Sorin here. If that first one had been on the draw, I might have kept it. Oh, so they are playing Bant. Okay, that's interesting. So let's sign in blood ourselves. So they do have Collected Company in this deck. It is Bant Spirits. Sure, sure. So let's land Liliana. Make them sack their Selfless Spirit. Fair enough. Okay, so they're a bit stuck on land, so let's Fatal Push Supreme Phantom. Trespasser. Eat their Phantom. Discard. Good, we like to see a Spell Queller go away. Yep, okay. Fairly quick game 2 there. So game 3, we're on the draw. So I'll take out another Edict and put in Extinction Event. Apart from that, I think I'm happy with that. Yep. No. Yep, that's pretty good. So let's pop back Swamp, Aetherborn. Quite like having an Aetherborn in this hand. Pop back a Swamp. Okay, let's open with Thoughtseize. So, Lofty Denial, Apparition, Spell Queller, Coco. Might just take Coco here. It's always a good card to get rid of. As we have a duplicate, I think I'm quite happy to play my Aetherborn into a counterspell. Yep. No third land is frustrating, so let's offer them the Spell Queller. Yep. Okay, I'll just pass the turn and get annoyed. We'll Thoughtseize them. We'll take Apparition here. I don't love this spot, but it is what it is. Can't Fatal Push either of those, sadly. Okay, let's play Liliana. Yeah, we're pretty much dead here unless we draw a land for ritual and they just have nothing. Okay, let's hope for the best. Now the question is, do they have a flash creature? No, they don't. Okay, we're not dead then. Just a Supreme Phantom. So let's Fatal Push Supreme Phantom. Attack. Take their last card out their hand. Okay, so we've recovered our life situation a little here. And Lochthwain's a good draw. Okay, they're just flooding now, so we'll draw a card. Okay, don't quite have the mana for that. Okay, so let's -6 Liliana. Sure thing. So you can have your Spectral Sailor, but will involve getting rid of your good lands. Yep, and then we'll play Sheoldred. Okay, 9 life's pretty secure now. They're down to 10. Okay, Apparition's a decent draw. So we'll kill that. Play Trespasser. Eat it from their graveyard. Okay, things are looking pretty good now. There we are. Very swingy game, but we got there in the end. And we're back again. Ooh, Elish Norn Mirrors. Yeah, this hand's okay. Bankbuster into Sorin, Aetherborn on the play. Yep. So I think we'll let's land Aetherborn here, I think. Okay, looks like we may be in a mono black mirror. Yep. So let's play Reckoner Bankbuster. Okay. Um, let's discard Nykthos here as we need the fourth swamp. I would like to be able to play Sheoldred, but it'll just get well. Unless they try and down tick Liliana, I just crew the Bankbuster. No, let's play Sorin. They're not doing much, so let's try and control them out of the game. Sure thing. Um. So if we draw land, I can invoke Despair, get rid of both of them. If we don't, I really want the Misery Shadow gone, so I'll discard Sheoldred here. Okay, that's not bad. So let's Thoughtseize them. Oh yes, take their Sheoldred. Liana. Okay, that's a good draw. So let's make them sack a Planeswalker. Tick up Liliana. Draw with Bankbuster just in case we get a land, which we do. Okay, so we're in reasonable shape here. We've got the best board presence. Yep. So we'll draw again. Okay, so we'll pass the turn, but we have a Castle Lochthwain to draw with. Okay, they are also just drawing land, but... Okay, let's... Trespasser. Eat their Misery Shadow. Tick up. Draw with Bankbuster. Pass the turn. Okay, we're in a pretty good position here. Yep, they've seen enough. Good, good. So yeah, our decision there to just go for card advantage rather than board presence paid off. So, mono black mirror. I like Invoke Despair in this match. Maybe a couple of go blank on the draw. Another fatal push. And let's take out... let's take out a Sign in Blood. A Sheoldred. Yeah, let's get rid of some of the top end. And then maybe one of the Thoughtseizes on a draw. On the draw. Yep. One day I'll get to actually play the 5-mana Sheoldred, but all of the games have been far too quick. We could have drawn it in that first game, I suppose. Yeah, this is a good hand. Sure thing. I think there's nothing there that I'm particularly worried about them taking. They might take the Edict as our earlier user. No, fair enough. Don't want us building up to that. So let's play Aetherborn here. I'm not expecting it to survive, but... And indeed it doesn't. Go blank or Trespasser? I think I'm happy to Trespasser here. Because any targeted removal they have requires them to discard a card. They might have an Edict, but... Yep. Ooh, okay. um, yeah, we'll just get rid of the land for the moment. Well, two can play at that game. Okay, we're both in top deck mode. They do have a Field of Ruin, though, which they can use against our Castle Lochthwain. Fair enough. Yep. Ooh, Bankbuster's a good draw. So let's start drawing cards. Yep, like it. Yeah, Bankbuster being able to give card advantage is a great help in this deck. So let's make them sack their Trespasser, sign in blood ourselves, play a land, get ready to invoke Despair. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, let's do this now. Meh, those draws could have been better. Okay, they got their own sign in blood, but they are running low on life. Sheoldred the Apocalypse, you say? Okay, that's a good answer to that. So let's Edict. Play Sorin. Make a 2-3 with flying, as that's going to pressure their life total quite considerably. Nope, okay. Okay, Aetherborn, so they're not going down without a fight. So let's tick up Sorin. Yeah, I will have that. I will play Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Draw with Bankbuster. Okay, well, we've got Big Shield. Sure. Discards Castle Lochthwain. Yeah, I mean, we may as well have that. It's discard fodder. We will attack, which they will have to give up their hive to save themselves. Yep. And we'll play Big Sheoldred. Well, I've marked them sticking it out, but they are in pretty rough shape here. Yep. Okay, good mirror match there. Let's move on. Match 3, and the question is, will we ever get to flip Sheoldred? Yep, this is a good 1-2-3. Okay, looks like Control we're up against. Okay, so that's a good hand. Veto, Absorb, Deluge. Um, let's take the Wandering Emperor, I think. It annoys me more than any of the other cards. Because we've got Castle Lochthwain, I'm not hugely fussed about playing anything. So I don't think we need to run a Trespasser into an Absorb. Now I will, because it'll stop the memory deluging. Give them a bit of a difficult choice, why not? Ooh. Ha 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 ha. So, do they have another counter spell? Is the question. 2 cards. Go on, let's go for it. Okay, we don't get any sacrifice value off them, but that's okay. We've got enough edicts to keep us doing that for days. Okay, big taff. So let's bait out a counterspell. Oh, I'll do it again. Okay, how many cards in the bin? 5. Okay, it's not terrible. They will have Memory Deluge, though, to... the Wandering Emperor, fair enough. Well, let's follow it up with another one. Oh, yes. 6 cards. Yep, I'll take the clue token off them for that. Sure thing. Draw. Fatal Push isn't the most fun thing I've ever seen, so we'll draw with Castle Lochthwain. Alright, we'll just have another. Pass the turn. Ha. Okay. Oh, I've got answers to sharks for days. Okay, that's Trespasser. We will eat our own other Trespasser, just in case we get towards flipping Sheoldred. Then we'll pass the turn. Sure thing. We'll give our left arm for an Invoke Despair here, but let's see what they have. Interesting. Okay. What good does that do you? Seems a bit of a waste, but sure. Okay, let's play Sorin. Have a life-linking vampire. Draw 2 cards. Play Sheoldred. Well, we got things to do now, so... Okay, let's plus here. Yeah, I'll take that. Fatal push their shark. Play Aetherborn. Yeah, let's sign in blood ourselves. Sheoldred's Edict. Okay, we're not dead, so let's pass the turn. Meat hook's not much use to us here, so let's go to attacks. Okay. So I'll create a... Actually, no, let's meat hook Massacre now. Okay. So it looks like I'm fatal pushing one of their sharks. Making a 2-3. Making another 2-3. Now we just hope they brick for a couple of turns. Yeah, I'll thin my deck out a bit more. Okay. So, what are we doing here? Let's draw with Castle Lochthwain. Play Aetherborn. Yeah. Tough choices, but I think that's the right thing to do. We're in not great shape on just one life with a Shark Typhoon. 29 cards. If we'd drawn an Evoke Despair, I'd feel a lot better about where we are, but... Yeah, that's rough. Okay, let's... attack. Ugh. No. Not good, not good. Yeah, it gives it first strike. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. You can have that one. Right, so let's have another Invoke Despair. Thought Distortion, Noxious Grasp, and we will take out... I think 2 Fatal Push is enough. So I like Bankbuster here. Sheoldred, not so fussed about. Let's trim. What, 2? Let's trim. Let's trim all of those. just because. Although, potentially killing a Planeswalker. Yeah. It was rough. It didn't have many good targets, that game. I don't think Liliana helps us here. We can't really be being affording to discard cards. So let's just pop out a Meathook Massacre instead, but leave one in. Yeah. Yeah, this is a decent enough hand. Okay, I'm a big fan of that as a concept. Okay, they've probably got a censor of some description, so I'm not in a hurry to play Trespasser. But if it can get an absorb out their hand, I'll take that. Yep, make disappear, fair enough. No, I'll just wait for them. And then I'm going to wreck them rather hard. Oof! Wow. That was pretty brutal. Yeah, I suppose that's why you play that card. Huh, interesting. Well. Good game, opponent. I'll be sending the Pinkertons round later. Okay, I think if they hadn't had reversal there, we might have had a fighting chance, but we got hilariously wrecked by that. So yeah, that is Sheoldred Tribal. Did reasonably well there. I've struggled a bit against control, but just a bit unlucky in that second game. I think we'd have been doing okay if it wasn't for that. So yeah, there's the deck list. It's not refined yet. It could do with some tweaking, I'm sure. So if you have any suggestions in the comments, do let me know. But yeah, it did pretty well. And as ever, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you next time for the next video. Oh, and I should also say, if you do have any deck suggestions, archetypes that you've seen from March of the Machine, then do drop them in the comments. I'm always interested to see what other people are playing and maybe get some ideas, because there's a sort of lack of information out there at the moment. I'm not sure if people are underwhelmed by the impact of the set, but a lot of the deck lists I'm seeing are just kind of the old favorites without any new cards. So if you have seen any, do let me know, because I'm always interested. And yeah, I'll see you next time.